Well, I promised this video would be coming pretty soon, and it is finally here. This is going to be my video for Xbox E3 2018 predictions, where I try to go over everything that Microsoft will show on June 10th. Everything from their first party to second party games, any platform announcements, accessories, indie games, all the way to the third party games that Microsoft may have marketing deals for. So hit that like button if you're excited or you enjoy the video by the end. Hit the sub button if you're new, and let's get into it, shall we? What's going on, guys? Randall Thor 19, the man with the million, back again with another video. And I love E3 season. I love watching all the conferences, but I even love trying to predict everything that's going to happen at this show. Now, last year, Microsoft showed off 42 games, with 21 of them being exclusive of some sort, whether full exclusive or timed. Now, honestly, I can't predict 42 games. I can't even predict where they're going to be in the show. So I'm only going to really predict the placement of the game that opens the show and the game that closes the show. And I'm just going to list off everything else I think is going to be there. Now, in the years previous, they always had the voiceover that went Xbox One and Windows 10 exclusive. I still expect that to be there, but I also expect there to be an emphasis on Xbox Game Pass. Don't be surprised if the voice this year sounds like Xbox and Windows 10 exclusive Day 1 Game Pass or something similar. So what do I think is going to open up the show? It's always important to open the show with a game that is not only going to be amazing, but look really good. It sets the tone for the entire package to come later, which is why I think, and I predict, that Microsoft is going to open the show with Ori and the Will of the Wisps. And what more beautiful game can you pick? Yeah, it may not be the most graphic intensive game that you can choose from, but there is no game that is going to be more beautiful than Ori and the Will of the Wisps. This game is made by Moon Studios, and I think it's going to be Day 1 Xbox Game Pass, obviously Xbox and Windows exclusive, although it'll probably come to Steam at some point, maybe even Day 1, and I think it's going to release on March 12th of 2019. I don't think it's ready this year, and honestly, I think if you had to list all the games I'm super excited for, from Sony to Xbox to Nintendo, Ori and the Will of the Wisps is right up there to me with The Last of Us 2. I cannot wait to play that game. The original was the game I got my Million Gamer score at E3 with, and back in 2016, so this franchise holds a dear place in my heart, and I think Microsoft, when starting off the show with this game, will set the tone for the rest of the press conference. And let's get into it, shall we? So I figure we'll go through the smaller stuff first, and then we'll start working our way up to the big things, because by the end of this video, some of you may not be exactly happy with me when I tell you what games won't be at the show, and I'm sure that'll spark some interesting discussion in the comments. So let's start it off with the indie stuff. I love my indie games. I do my Rand's Indie Spotlights here on the channel. And there's definitely games here that I want to play. Microsoft is going to show an ID at Xbox montage. They do it every single year. It'll be about 20 games in a montage of indie games that are higher profile, that maybe don't deserve, or maybe deserve is the wrong word, but they don't need the stage limelight. Microsoft is going to save that for something like Ashen, which is going to come this year. Ashen is the game that Microsoft used to have they were publishing, but Annapurna Interactive picked it up last year. I believe Ashen is going to debut with a gameplay segment on stage with the release date of early September 2019. So that's one indie game. I also think Below is finally going to make its return after being gone for the last couple years. This is a game that debuted all the way back at the Xbox reveal event, if you guys remember, back in 2013. Well, they said it's coming in 2018, and I believe we'll be back on stage with another release date, a trailer for it. And same thing goes for a game they showed last year that got a lot of praise, which is The Last Night. They'll show a trailer for that, as well as the date, and I would imagine that would probably be August. Some of these games are going to want to avoid the big October death fights between Black Ops 4, Battlefield 5, and Red Dead Redemption 2. So some of these will probably come out earlier and some will come out later. So that's the indie montage. as all the indie games as well. So we're going to move on from that. I don't think Microsoft spends too much time with those, but indie games are important to the library of the system. Now, let's go into platform announcements. I think Microsoft is going to debut the avatars on stage, the newly redesigned avatars, but they aren't going to come alone. It's not just going to be, here are the new avatars, but they're actually going to announce some games to go along with it. An avatar fighting game, I believe, will be one of them, as well as an avatar racing game. No idea what they're going to be called, but Microsoft doesn't want to just come to E3 and show off, hey, here's your new avatar things you can use on the dashboard, you can dress them up and stuff. They're actually going to have games available to use your new avatars with right away. I'm not that big of a fan of avatars, but I know people are, and people seem to be really excited about the new avatar system. They do look a lot better than the originals. I just can't really get excited for it. I mean, I'll test it out and make a video and things like that like I normally do, but I just can't really get excited. Now, I also expect there to be a reveal for new controllers, which the Elite V2, which is leaked already. I would expect there to be a trailer for that, as well as the new accessibility controller for disabled gamers. I don't know if you guys saw my video for that yesterday, so I expect both of those to be have their own trailers run through that system. And I also expect there to be an unveiling of the Xbox Career System. I know Mike Ibarra recently came out and said there wasn't an Xbox Career System in active development. Keyword, active development. I believe it's probably mostly already finished and just waiting to be shown off. This system is something that Mike talked about on the podcast with us last year. It's supposed to kind of replace Gamerscore and give you a level on Xbox Live and give you XP. Jess Corden had a interesting article about this on Windows Central. I think this will be re-debuted, or actually debuted for the first time at E3 and explained and how this kind of you can increase your Xbox Live level and all that different stuff. So I think that one's going to go over well with a lot of different people. I'm definitely interested in seeing what they come out with. And then finally, for the platform stuff, we're going to have Daryl Gallagher come out on stage. If you don't know who Daryl Gallagher is, he used to run Crystal Dynamics, used to run the game production side at Square Enix for a bit before leaving for Activision. Well, recently he was hired by Microsoft to be a part of their Microsoft Executive Leadership Team, Microsoft Studios Executive Leadership Team, which prompted me to believe that he is going to be running his own studio. And then the job listing came out of them building a brand new quadruple A studio, not my words, not a typo, in Santa Monica, where he is located, where he worked for Activision. So I think Daryl Gallagher will come out. He'll give a short little speech about what his job is at Xbox and how he sees, building single-player games. And maybe we'll get a trailer for something he is building. Maybe a little demo. Maybe not. But I really do think he'll come out there and at least talk about the studio that he is building with maybe some footage or something. I do think they will do it there. And if they don't do it on the conference, it'll be like after the conference in some interviews. But that is what I expect from the platform side of things. And with the indies out of the way and with the platform out of the way, we can go right into what everybody really is interested in, the third-party games and the first-party games. So let's delve into the third party. I'm going to save the first party stuff for last because that is the stuff people really want to know. And I still expect people to be upset by the end of this video. So I have a list here of some third party games that I think are going to be pretty huge. We're going to start off with a company that I think is going to show up with 2 games to Microsoft's conference, and that is EA. And the first game should be no surprise. It's going to be Anthem. It was the show closer from Microsoft last year. I know a lot of people were upset that they closed with a third-party game when normal conventional wisdom says you should probably, close with your own first-party games. But Anthem's going to be there. EA needs to win back gamers on this one. They've really kind of soured gamers on what they're doing, especially with the whole Battlefield 2 loot box stuff. They're not exactly in gamers' good graces. And Anthem, because of all that, because people just are just very cynical of what EA is doing. They know it's all about loot boxes and things. EA is going to really have to sell them on this game again. So they're going to come on stage. They're going to show this game off at EA Play the day before, but they're also going to do a new gameplay trailer for the game here. They really need Anthem to be big. They need it to be their next core franchise, and quite frankly, so does BioWare. So Anthem is going to be there, no doubt. And the other game that EA will be bringing is the marketing game that they have with Xbox, since Sony has the deal for Call of Duty Black Ops 4, which will be at Sony's stage. Microsoft has the deal for Battlefield 5, which is going to be revealed here pretty soon, May 23rd, because everybody reveals their games before E3 these days, but that doesn't stop them still re-showing it. So they're going to show this at EA Play, of course, and they'll probably do some multiplayer demo there like they did for Star Wars Battlefront last year, and then at Microsoft's thing, they'll probably do a trailer for the single-player campaign, and that'll probably come out. This is a tough one to get, because we already know Anthem's 2019, March. They said that before, so that's no surprise. Battlefield 5 is in a tough spot. Call of Duty Black Ops is basically coming out early October, with Red Dead late October. Do you kind of risk coming in between both of those and getting sandwiched similar to Titanfall 2 a couple years ago, or do you just move to November? They said October recently, so I'm going to go with what EA is saying. I think they come out in between both Black Ops and Red Dead because they are a big enough franchise to be able to do that, although I think it will hurt sales in the long run. So that's Battlefield 5. The next game that's going to show up is Shadow of the Tomb Raider from Square Enix. We've seen the trailer. They've already revealed it. It seems to at least have marketing deals with Xbox. I personally cannot wait to play this game. They'll obviously have a single-player demo shown off. And I think there's going to be something special with this game. I think the marketing deal extends more to just, we have the marketing and we'll do the trailers and we'll have the logo come at the end of the video. I think this is going to be the big mark for Xbox Game Pass. So when this one comes up, it'll say Day 1 Xbox Game Pass. And that's what I think Microsoft's new marketing deals will revolve around, is this idea of trying to get a huge third party into Game Pass. And yeah, they're going to have to pay for it. Anthem and Battlefield 5 are no-go. EA would never do that. They have their own subscription service. But I believe Shadow of the Tomb Raider, with its supposed $75 to $100 million budget and the $30 million marketing budget, I think Microsoft wants more eyes on Game Pass, as they see that as their future, and they know that maybe their first-party content isn't... Not everybody's interested in what Microsoft's first-party has to offer outside of Halo and Gears of War and Forza, but people are really interested in Shadow of the Tomb Raider. So if you can cut a deal to get that on Game Pass, have it Day 1, you can still get it physically, you can still get it digitally on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. It would just draw more attention to Game Pass, which is exactly what Microsoft wants. So that is what I think is going to happen there. Now, next up, we have Ubisoft coming on stage, but what is Ubisoft going to show? They've already said, kind of hinted at the fact that there's no Assassin's Creed this year, Beyond Good and Evil 2 isn't ready. What exactly is Ubisoft going to show here? And finally, I've been predicting this for some time now, and I think it's the year. Finally, we're going to get Sam Fisher returning. Splinter Cell is going to be announced at Microsoft's conference with the black screen, the 3 goggles, appearing on, going ding ding, right, and then Sam Fisher's voiceover going, "Did you miss me?" And then we'll get into a little trailer with a maybe deeper gameplay reveal at Ubisoft's press conference the following day. I can't wait for that myself. Oh, Splinter Cell. Can't wait for you to come back, baby. Next up, we have Bethesda. Bethesda's been a good partner to Microsoft, and it's interesting trying to figure out which game they would show. I know Starfield is supposed to be their big game at E3 this year, and Doom 2 is another game it is supposed to be working on that's about ready to show, but I don't think Bethesda would show those games at Microsoft's conference first. Bethesda's after Microsoft this year, and I don't think they would want to spoil Starfield or Doom 2 early. They would save that for their own press conference, even though Microsoft may have the Starfield marketing rights, which is why I think they're going to show off a deeper gameplay segment for Rage 2, which is a game that literally just was revealed yesterday and got a gameplay trailer for today. Actually looks pretty cool. Doom plus Mad Max. Looks pretty badass. So I'd imagine Bethesda will come out on stage. They'll do a gameplay demo for Rage 2, and that'll be it. Starfield will have to wait until their actual press conference themselves. They're not gonna give that to Microsoft, even though they may have the marketing rights for it. Next up is a game we actually saw last year, Metro Exodus from 4A. This game maybe had one of the best trailers last year at E3. I thought it was great. It was completely unexpected. So I totally expect them to come back this year with the gameplay trailer and give the release date, which I think was going to be... It's tough. You have already September kind of having a bunch of games with Shadow of the Tomb Raider and Spider-Man. October is pretty full, so I expect Metro Exodus to actually come out in August. Be a good release date for it. Maybe the start of AAA season. So that's what I'm gonna say. August for Metro Exodus, and potentially day one Game Pass too, if they have the marketing deal for it. Because I believe Microsoft's gonna go hard in the paint on Xbox Game Pass. Now, next up, we have a developer whose last game was an Xbox exclusive, an IP that Microsoft owns, and one that's kind of been in the news lately, and that's Quantum Break. I believe Remedy is going to come on Microsoft stage and show off Project 7, which is their newest game in conjunction with 505 Games. I think Microsoft has a very good relationship with Remedy, and I don't think Sony would really want to steal that marketing because they wouldn't really care. So I think Remedy will be there with Project 7 to finally show off exactly what this new game is for them. And honestly, I can't wait. I love Remedy. I think they make amazing games. I'll be there day one. I'm really interested in seeing whatever they have come up with. Next up, we have Capcom. Now, I was thinking Capcom's definitely going to be there in some capacity, but what game will they show? I think it's a little bit too early for Resident Evil 8. Devil May Cry 5, I believe, is going to be debuted at Sony's conference, so it wouldn't show up here. I think it's a little bit too early for Dead Island 5, or Dead Island, what is their zombie game? I can't even think of it right now. I can't even think of the zombie game right now. You know which one I'm talking about. So which is why I'm going to go with Dino Crisis. Yeah, people are probably like, no way that's real, but why not? You know, Devil May Cry 5 is going to be at Sony's show. Resident Evil Remake, I guess it possibly could be Resident Evil Remake 2, but I don't think that'll show up at Microsoft's. So I'm kind of hoping for Dino Crisis, a reimagining of the series. People that really like the series, me included. I've played Dino Crisis 1, 2, and 3, and I would love for it to come back. And I know this prediction probably isn't true, at the least, other than Capcom actually showing up there. But I want it to be true. So just give me this one. And I still can't even think what the zombie game is that Capcom makes. Dead Rising. There we go. Dead Rising 5. I think it's a little bit too soon for Dead Rising 5, which is why I don't think it'll be there. Now, Phil has talked about having a Japanese presence at the show, and I've thought, is this possibly where they show off Neo, perhaps, or Nier Automata that's rumored to come? I don't really know many other Japanese games that are in development, unfortunately. So I decided, you know what? What if Phil went out there and cut a deal with From Software, and they show off the gameplay trailer and reveal for Shadows Die Twice? I know a lot of you PlayStation fans are like, no, that's Bloodborne 2. That can't be possible. We don't know what it is. There's rumors out there that it's not Bloodborne 2, that it's not exclusive to any console. And if they wanted to have a big Japanese presence at the show, what better way than to get From Software out there to debut their new title to make sure everybody knows that this game is coming to Xbox when everybody thought it was going to be exclusive to PlayStation. So that's why I think Shadows Die Twice will be at Microsoft show. When probably it'll be at Sony's. But either way, Shadows Die Twice at Microsoft's. Which will lead us to the first party stuff. Now, this is the stuff everybody wants to know. What are they going to show, right? And then after we get to the first party stuff, I'm going to talk about what's going to close the show, but more importantly, what isn't going to be at the show, because that's going to be the takeaway from this. I think a lot of people are going to type it in the comments. So obviously their first party, they're going to show off Forza Horizon 4. It's probably going to be their biggest game this year. I can't wait for Forza Horizon 4. I love Forza Horizon 3. It's a complete masterpiece of the racing genre. You know this. Everybody knows this. And 4 is going to be no different. Hopefully it's a little bit... It has maybe some different elements to it. The big question is, where is it going to be set and when is it going to release? I expect a late September release. It's very similar to their release of Forza Horizon 3. And I don't know, the rumors have gone back and forth about Tokyo and the UK and all those different things. I think it's actually going to include both of them. It's going to be set in a way where you can easily travel between like different continents, in my opinion. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But we know that the game is coming, that Forza Horizon 4 will be this year, and it'll be probably the biggest game that Microsoft has. Now, what else can we expect from Microsoft showing? This next one isn't going to go over very nice. Sea of Thieves is going to show up. Yes, I don't want Sea of Thieves to show up either. I wish they would just say... I wish they just wouldn't talk about the game. And if they do talk about the game, fine. Just put it in the Xbox Newswire post, release a trailer for it, whatever. But I honestly think they're going to have a trailer showcasing the future content that is coming up for Sea of Thieves for the rest of the year. So we're going to have to sit through 3 or 4 minute trailer of who knows whatever Sea of Thieves and Rare is doing. I don't want to see it. You don't want to see it. But Microsoft seems to be fully 100% behind Sea of Thieves. And Microsoft wants to show people that the game does have content and that content is coming. So expect that to be a spot there. What else do we have? Well, I know the Walmart leak talked about Gears of War 5, and that's a possibility, but I don't think it's 100% correct. I think what you're going to get is a Gears spinoff from Splash Damage. I don't think it's going to play like a traditional Gears game. It's going to be a spinoff like Judgment, but not playing like it. I expect this Gears game to be more XCOM-ish, or maybe more full spectrum warrior-like. Microsoft really wants to take their bigger franchises and spin them off into different genres. So that is definitely going to be announced, and I think that is actually going to release this year in November. It'll be like the November Game Pass game. With Forza Horizon 4 coming out in September, they're going to need a game for November, and I think the Gears spinoff is exactly that. And it won't be buried so much because Red Dead and Call of Duty and Battlefield 5 will be out in October. So they'll release it sometime in November, maybe right around the time people are shopping for systems around Black Friday. So expect the Gears spinoff sometime there. And if they're really frisky, and if Gears 5 is potentially coming next year, then maybe they tease Gears 5. But I don't think they want to do that. I think the focus will be on the spin-off, so I don't expect the Gears 5 tease just yet. And that brings us to Halo. Now, I know we have the Halo MCC, which is being worked on right now. I don't think they talk about that very much so, other than maybe they do talk about it and say it's finished and it's coming to Xbox Game Pass today. Maybe it's not. Maybe it won't be finished until later. But there will be a Halo game shown off. It will be a spin-off of some kind. Maybe a multiplayer-only title of some sort. And I also believe that will be coming out sometime this year. Potentially around December. Maybe early January. I think you're going to get both a Gears and a Halo game, even though not mainline, but sometime pretty soon. Not exactly sure what they're going to be. I would love for it to be some kind of third-person RPG, but I have a feeling it's some multiplayer focused title without really a single player to go alongside of it. And that brings us to the end of the show, where the show is going to close with Cyberpunk 2077 from The Witcher 3 devs and CD Projekt Red. What better way to close the show with probably one of the most anticipated third-party games out there? People will be talking about this game well into the rest of the day and all the rest of the E3, and Microsoft will have the marketing rights for it, and that is how they're going to end their shows. 2 years in a row, ending with a third-party game, because, and I know people are going to get upset at this, I predict that there will be no Fable talk, there will be no Perfect Dark, There will be no Crackdown 3. If you've been paying attention, I never mentioned it. And there will be no Halo 6. Microsoft isn't ready to talk about Fable and Perfect Dark, in my opinion. I think those games are too far out, whether they're 2020 or 21 titles. I think they're next-gen games, and they're not going to show their hand too far into the future. So you won't see Fable or Perfect Dark, which is why they're going to end the show with Cyberpunk. Otherwise, they would end the show with a 1-minute tease of Fable. But it's not in the plans. That's why they're ending it with Cyberpunk. Now, I know some of you are probably wondering, Rand, what the heck? Crackdown 3, 20, what do you mean? This game's supposed to come out this year. And while that was true, it was supposed to come out in spring. I believe it's recently been delayed all the way to 2019. They want to make Crackdown a pillar of Xbox, just like how Halo and Gears of War and Forza is. And they've recently gone back and really pumped a lot of money into the development of the game to make it that special. And if it's not coming out this year, if it's not coming out between, June, July, and August, then they're just going to give it the time it needs and release it sometime next year. So you know what? I predict it's been delayed to May of 2019. A full year delay from now to make it a much better game, to make it a game that people really want to enjoy, and to make it the franchise more viable to go to a sequel later on down the road. So that's my whole thing. Crackdown 3 you won't see this year. It's completely going to skip E3. They're not going to talk about it. They might talk about it in interviews, like not during the conference. But yeah, no Crackdown 3 at E3 and no Crackdown 3 in 2018. Sorry, guys. And then for the no Halo 6, I know a lot of people have been expecting there to be a new Halo game. You would expect it this year if you were going by their normal dev cycles. But I think they're also spending a lot of money to make sure that Halo returns to the form it needs to be. Back in the days when Halo was the biggest thing in gaming, Halo 3, Halo 2, Microsoft wants that game to be what it was. And I think they're giving the game extra time, which is why I don't expect it to be shown off this year. In fact, I don't really even expect it to be announced until E3 2019 with the release date of E3 2020, which is why I think Gears of War actually comes out before. I think Gears of War 5 is a 2019 title, but I'm not sure they're going to show Gears 5 yet because of the spin-off. I don't think they want to take focus away from that. So yeah, I think this is going to be the big takeaway from a lot of people, is that there'll be no Fable, there'll be no Perfect Dark, there'll be no Crackdown, and there'll be no Halo 6. And I'm not sure exactly how people will take to this press conference. Hopefully they have a lot more games than I mentioned here. Maybe some other first-party surprises that I just can't even, think of. But that is what I'm predicting, guys. And I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I know it ended up being a pretty long one, but I tried listing all the things I could think of in this prediction video. So if you really enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like. Let me know about everything in this video. Did you enjoy the predictions? Do you agree with me about the no Crackdown and the no Halo and all the different things I talked about? Give me a list of what you predict Microsoft is going to show, and I'll make sure to read everybody's comments. So hit that like button. Consider subscribing to the channel if you're new. Hit that notification bell so you're always notified when I drop new videos. Share this out on social media so more people can check it out. I really would appreciate it. And I just want to take the time to thank each and every one of you for watching my videos. I know I can post a lot. 3 videos yesterday. So far, just 1 planned for today. But I really appreciate everyone who's taken the time out to comment on the videos, watch them, especially considering that they can be quite long. I really do appreciate that. And I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. And I'll see you on Thursday for my Sony PlayStation prediction video and the podcast tomorrow. Later, guys.